The Joe Rogan Experience.
Again, this is things you wish you had on tape. About 1998-ish, me, Mitch Hedberg, and Greg Giraldo both did sets. All three of us did sets at the Comedy Cellar. And there was an old diner on 9th and 23rd called Chelsea Square Diner. I don't know if it's still there anymore. The three of us was me, Greg, and Mitch. And if you ask me why God spared me out of that three, I have no idea. It's just sheer luck. But God spared me for some reason. I don't know why. And I remember the three of us were talking about drugs. And Hedberg, he told this to a couple of people, and I didn't know Mitch as well. I did a couple of gigs with him, but he said, a lot of people are trying to get me to stop. I'm never going to stop. He said, "I'm just don't waste your time. I'm never going to stop doing it. I love it that much." And at the time, I didn't realize how dark that was. And he died. He's been dead almost 15 years now. You talk about a real genius, like he just was like, I know I can never stop. Like that's how much it takes over to the point where, you might die. He goes, "I don't care. I want to do it this way."
Jesus.
Again.
Well, remember when he almost died from gangrene?
Yeah.
Because he was shooting into the same hole.
He was going through, he might have been with Attell, I don't know, and Lewis Black. They did a tour together. And again, that's one of the sadder stories. Yet the security at the airport smelled the gangrene.
Oh, boy.
That's how they found out, yeah. And they found shit. And I think he beat the case. I think they found like paraphernalia or stuff. But you're talking about, one of the best, maybe the best joke writer ever. And again, when you live in this life, like stand-ups, most of us dreamed of doing this our whole lives, and now you're doing it. Who's going to tell you to stop anything?
I think with him too, they were inseparable. The stand-up and the heroin together.
Yeah, like Miles Davis said, like with playing the trumpet, stuff like that. Again, you're talking about extreme personalities.
Yeah,
John Belushi.
Yeah,
and again, like you say, you have the same personality, but it just manifested itself in different ways.
Well, I was lucky when I was a kid. I knew junkies. I had
my
friend Jimmy's cousin was selling coke when I was in high school, and I watched him rot away. I watched him shrivel up, and I remember I was very paranoid.
Right.
And I didn't want to ruin my life. I was always worried about ruining my life.
Yeah.
So I'd see things like that. I'd be like, all right, stay the fuck away from drugs.
That's an amazingly mature attitude at that point, because I was a direct opposite. I said, that's going to be part of the success.
Yeah, for me,
part
it
of
was
the
self-preservation.
Yeah. And look, that's a smart way to think. But I tell when I speak, I tell these kids, because they're like, "How did you make it, man? Like, how did you make it in showbiz?" Like they Google me and they see me, on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
They go, "How did you do that?" Like in rehab, they were like, they're watching my movies on YouTube. These kids are magicians with the fucking thing, and my stand up, and they go, "How did you do this? Like being a junkie?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I can't even remember."
Well, that's part of the problem, is that you're kind of rewarded for being so wild, and being wild, it's accentuated, by the drugs, and by the craziness, and the gambling, and all of it.
The way Ray Romano wrote new jokes about having kids and a family.
Yeah.
A lot of comics, you comment on your life.
Yes.
That's how you get new material. So my life was not a wife and kids. My life was this craziness with drugs and gambling. And that's where I mine that for material.
And it's also, the audience loved it. They loved the fact that you're out there living that life. Like Bukowski or Hunter Thompson. Anyone who's out there living that life, there's like...
It's romantic.
Yes.
It's romantic. You're not living like the average schlub.
No.
Like Ray Liotta says it in Goodfellas. Like, we were rock stars.
Yeah.
All these guys who had to wake up and go to a 9-to-5 job. We don't know that life,
Right.
And I saw the other side when I was at this halfway house. With all these crazy motherfuckers, I had to get a job as part of the program. So I pumped gas, and I worked on the back of a garbage truck for a while, throwing garbage. And I pumped gas as a kid. And the money we make for being on stage, I'm going for, from that money. I pumped gas 40 hours one week. I got a check for $280. So that's life, man.
Yeah, that's real life.
That's real life.
Yeah.
Okay, story about this kid in the halfway house. I had 3 roommates. One was a carjacker. The other one was an arsonist. Okay, this other kid was a junk. This kid was my bunkmate. He lived on the top bunk. I was on the bottom. He's like 22 years old. He had a form of Tourette's. Every 11 seconds, my hand to God, he made this sound. Hey. Every 11 seconds. Okay, he went hey all night. All right. To get to sleep, he watched porn on his phone. So he loved a specific kind of porn, and he would keep showing it to me. He's jerking off on the top bunk, and I got to go pump gas the next day. I'm like, my life is fucking over. And he loved watching these really fat black chicks get fucked by small white guys. That's what he liked. Okay, so this is what you hear all night. You hear this: "Fuck me with that honky dick." Hey. Fuck me, you little white pussy. Hey. And political correctness is even in like jails. Like, because in the old days, people would have just lit him on fire.
Right.
And thrown him in a dumpster.
Right.
But now it's a disease.
Right.
So he's got a disease. So, but the kid, I go, you're on the fucking internet. You can watch the hottest chicks on the planet. He would jerk off these chicks. I go, those chicks look like the 86 Celtics. That looks like Bill Walton. But then it's like this enormous, like Oprah looking chick with a little like Richard Simmons looking guy. And he goes, hey. Hey.
Did you ever ask him why he's into that?
No, sort of, but no explanation made any sense. Okay, this other kid I was in jail with, I was in protective custody. So if you're in protective custody at jail, it means you're a murderer, a snitch, or some sort of celebrity. So you're up there with hardcore motherfuckers. So this black kid who was next to me in the cell, great kid, I loved him. But when me and him were both out of the cell together for rec time, I noticed the guards were real protective of me. They're like, no, they would make him go in the shower and lock the shower while I walked past him. He had some sort of ghetto Tourette's or something, like, because he'd ask you a question about your life, and then he would interrupt you by going, word up! Like so I'm going to ask you a question. Just start the answer. Okay. What's your name?
Joe.
Word up! Wow. Where are you from? Word up!
Born in New Jersey.
Word up! Every 11 seconds he went, word up! Word up! I love the guy.
Why was entertaining?
Okay, because I'm locked in my cell 23 hours a day. One of the guards told me the guy chopped up 3 women.
Oh. Word up.
Like, cut up. Yeah.
Oof.
So you're rubbing elbows with these guys.
Jesus.
I think he chopped up 3 girls. The most affable. I like the kid. I still basketball with him. Like the Golden State was playing. And yeah, because you're in solitary confinement.
Was he able to have conversations?
He was mentally ill, obviously,
Yeah,
but
clearly.
he kept like I heard him on the phone. The other thing about jail, man, they have tablets now. They have the technology. So for 1 hour a day, I was out of my cell, and you could play basketball or whatever. But you're in these cages, so they give these young kids who are in jail for a long time tablets. They could call anybody on the outside. So they call their girlfriends, which is always a bad thing. Like, it starts out nice, but you hear the build, like, how you doing, baby? Wait, who's that? Who's that in the background? Who the fuck is that? And they start screaming at him, and they get violent. And I go, don't call your girlfriend. And when this kid would talk to anybody's life, he kept saying, word up. Every 5 seconds.